Hi everyone who's joining us on YouTube. Today we are painting a fiddler crab on a piece of 200-pound Waterford paper. Now this is what it's gonna end up looking like. And I'll lift this up a little bit so you can see the card. This is the picture that I am stealing this from. And this was the prep work that I've done already. So what I did was I took a piece of it's tracing paper. It's black non-water soluble tracing paper. And I ran this crab off on the computer so that it's a full 8.5 by 11. And I put it down and I traced over the crab and his eyes and all his legs, his markings in his body. Those made nice dark lines that will lift up a little bit when the PDO comes up. And then I took PDO drawing gum and a good brush, which I put in shampoo first and then into the PDO, and I outlined the body and the legs and the pincers. But I could cover the whole thing in PDO, but then it's just a big waste of PDO. And I left the spots in between that are going to be sand. So I just have to be careful that I paint the sand and not his legs and his body. So that's where we're starting. So the first step is to just paint this whole background. And I'm going to do it first by wetting the whole paper. You can see I have a few little stains. I have paint from the other side, so I'm not going to worry about those things though. I did not mean to wet his body. I do mean to wet the sand though. Everywhere that's sand, I want wet. This paper can hold a lot of water because it's 200 pound. I'm going to take a paper towel and dry off the part in the center so that will help me remember not to paint it. I'm just going to paint all around it now. And I'm going to start with French ultramarine blue. No, I'm not. I'm going to start with quinacridone gold. If you don't have quinacridone gold, you can use raw sienna. They'll work very, very, very similarly. And I'm going to put some of this gold down there in the sand too, and raw sienna. Phone's ringing. I'm to ignore it like always. And hopefully when I put my salt on it later, it'll actually, some of that yellow will sort of show up. Now I'm going to go to French ultramarine blue. And I'm going to put burnt sienna in it. Oh, want the top of this to be really wet. So I'm mixing French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna together to get sort of this gray blue color. And it's all very watery. Lots of pigment. Go right over his eyes. It's gonna really, eyes are gonna really pop out. Right in here. Where his body hits his claws. I can just go right over that PBO. Oh, I like that it's granulating very strikingly. I have something right here, some blob. Got rid of that. Okay. I'm going to keep going with these colors down towards the bottom. Maybe a little more burnt sienna and see if I can see what happens. Okay, let's start down here. Oh, I know what I need to add. I need to add some Antwerp blue to this. Okay. I need to add Antwerp blue so that I can get my salt to work really well. So I'm going to add Antwerp blue and burnt sienna. That's going to make kind of a green color. And I put more French ultramarine blue into it. So I've got 3 colors in this mix. Burnt sienna, French ultramarine blue, and Antwerp blue. I'm just going to add, oh, it does look green. It's kind of cool. I was putting this on the bottom part of the painting. Mine turned out very green. I don't dislike it though. Now I've got the green there. I need to have some green spots elsewhere in the picture, not just all at the bottom or it won't read right. So so different than the way I painted it on the other side. I'm going to add more burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue to this. That's getting dark now. That'll really make his claws show up. Again, if I have that color in the very bottom, I need some in the top too, so that it looks like it's kind of all together. And again, if I have this kind of green blue color that is on this side of the leg, then I need to have it on this side of the leg, and that side of the head, I need to have it on that side of the head and this side of the leg. So if I have a color, it needs to go behind the whole crab. And this is looking very dark, but granulated. And when we get the salt on, and the PBO comes off, it'll just pop that little crab right up. Washing my brush. I'm going to sign my name, partly because I remembered. Careful not to get too many fingerprints. I need to sign it a good ½ inch up. So wet, it's just going right into the paper. Now, the crucial waiting for the right time to add the salt. Because what I want to do is, in the photograph, it's very, very blurry in the back. And then right where the crab is touching the ground, it's in focus. So there's little speckles of sand. But what I'm going to do is put salt. This is margarita salt. And I'm going to put it right here where the claws touch the sand. I'm not going to really put any that is touching his body. I'm not going to go up that high. And then a little below. And I'm not using very much. I'll show you how much each one of these pinches is. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 20 little tiny little pieces of salt. And that's my little pinch. And whenever I use salt, I always think of one of my former students, Helen Kiedis, who's passed away now. But she always makes me smile. The thought of her makes me smile. Because she used to use, if I gave her that much salt, she would have used it all. And I'm just going to kind of wait and see how that works. It looks like it's going to work. So now we have to let this dry on its own so that the salt will work. Okay, so the salt's been working. I'm a little disappointed that some of them didn't turn more yellow, but that's okay. It's working. And now that it has these nice crystals showing, I am going to dry this with the blow dryer, because before I take off that PBO off my crab, my paper has to be perfectly dry. Now that my paper is completely dry, I'm going to take my pickup. This is a pickup, and I'm going to lift off all the PBO, rub it off. Really try to keep my paper white. I'm going to go ahead and take it all the PBO off now. It took me a while to get all the PBO off, but it's off, and now what I'm going to do is start painting the crab, and the color that I'm going to start with is the yellow. And it's mostly Panza Yellow Medium, but I'm going to put some quinacridone gold. If you don't have quinacridone gold, just leave that out. Check this color. You know what? I like it pure Panza Yellow. So I'm going to make this pretty watery. Pure hands of yellow. And I'm going to start painting all his legs and his claws. Especially the tips of the claws. I'm going to put some other colors over this so that'll look more opaque when we're done. And this part of his body. And his eyes. Because I want to have just that tiny bit of bright yellow peeking around the dark parts. And then this comes down and is on these little red like antennae that his eyes are attached to. This is yellow over on this side. And then all these legs need to be start with yellow. Because that's what's, when we leave this little bit of yellow, it'll look like the sun is shining through it. So that's the first colors, is to start with pure hands of yellow. And now I'm going to see what happens if I add this little bit of quinacridone gold. It's not really doing that much for me, so I'm just going to spread it out and pretend I didn't put it on there. What I'm going to do now is add permanent rose to the hands of yellow medium and make pale orange. Ooh, hello, pale orange. Now, this is still damp. So I'm going to start letting that orange go into my yellow. It's going to be kind of a first coat. I'll go in later. Definitely want to leave it very yellow where this line is. I can put this orange across his whole face. I don't know the parts of a crab that there are these little things that look like a nose or something right in here that are a little bit lighter in color. So I'm just going to add water and blot those out. And then this over here has got some light. Orange, and this has some orange. Orange up in this area. There's the first coat on. The second coat, yellow and orange. I dried this with the blow dryer, and now what I'm going to work on are the shapes of these. Well, there's 3 legs right there, actually. So I'm going to take my orange paint, and I'm going to paint. I'll start with this one right here. This one. I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to paint around this leg. So I'm leaving that leg alone, and I'm painting behind it, and then I just soften that edge. So now this leg looks like it's in front of that leg. But on this side is darker. So now I'm going to paint a positive edge. So I'm just going to start painting positive and negatives until I have these legs showing. And if I'm going to paint over a color I just painted, I have to dry it. And I want to leave that tiny edge over here just really bright yellow.
What color did you add to make that darker orange?
Permanent rose and Hansa yellow medium. I just added more permanent rose and made the pigment thicker.
Thank you.
I'm going to do the same thing on these legs over here, positives and negatives. For this far leg, I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna to that orange mixture. Because I can see right here on that leg, it's some brown to it. And this is, I'm painting the back leg darker and leaving the front leg lighter. It has little hairs. Now I'm going to work on the claws and his face. So I'm going to use the same orange, and I'm going to put the tiniest bit of burnt sienna, not burnt sienna, I'm sorry, French ultramarine blue into it, because I want it to become opaque and sort of gray down. Oh, I think I got almost perfect color. I'm going to start it down here and see. Kind of brown.
Color was that?
Well, this was the same orange, which is permanent rose
Right.
and hands of yellow medium with a little bit of French ultramarine blue in it.
Oh, okay.
So I want this. And right in that corner, the bright red is really just permanent rose and hands of yellow medium, because I see a little bright red right in here. And his eyes attach with these pretty bright red antenna looking things.
Make the red again?
The red is permanent rose and hands of yellow medium.
Still.
Amazing that that makes red, but it does. And there's two little spots right where these claws come out that are red, just on the inside of the big claws. Here's red between those two white things. This is kind of red. I'm scrumbling this kind of reddish color over his body here. Scrumbling means I'm using the side of the brush and making it sort of skip a little bit. So it's a little bit rough. Here I'm just sort of dabbing it, and sort of making texture a little bit. Now I want to do I want to give the claws that kind of blue cast to it. So it's permanent rose and French ultramarine blue, which of course makes purple. And I'm going to add just a little wash of purple over this little claw, but not down the little talons because it's in the shadow, in the shade there, I think. And then this one's almost all, the big claw is almost all has a layer of purple over it. But it's a pinkier color. Add more permanent rose to it. There it is. I just dried it, and my last step is to add my dark eyes and a few little shapes to his body. So the dark eyes color is going to be burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue, which makes a nice black. And if I need to like have a little bit of purple tint to that, I'll just add a little bit of permanent rose. Whoop, that tinted it. My little spot that I'm making. All right. Added way too much permanent rose. There, that's pretty close. Okay, now my paper's dry. My paper towel is soaked with orange. And here I go. I'm going to paint the little eyes, and I have to leave the outline that's bright yellow. It's a tiny, tiny little thing. Tiny, tiny. All of a sudden, it comes alive. Just like that. You go on the other side, there's a little bit different shape, a little more yellow showing. Hello. He comes alive with the eyes. And now if I just use this dirty brush, I can go in here and paint some little shadows. It's got a mustache. And there's definitely more dark at the bottom of his body. Little line there, and a little line there that goes up to the leg there. Now I'm just gonna kind of add some of these details until I get tired of adding details, and I think it's good enough. I don't want to put anything on without thinking about it first. I want to really just look where the little lines are. So I just added a few more darks in here around the legs and around the face, and now I think I'm going to stop.
Working on it though.
Always good. Hello. Look at your purples and greens in the background.
There you go.
Oh, he's so bright.
Nice.
Good. I like his colors. You're very close to being done. Nice. Oh, he's good. I like his yellow areas. You can really, the sun is shining. Well, I guess, he's underwater. No, he's on the sand. So yeah, the sun is shining through him. And his little eyes are really good. Very nice. I like how you left your yellows. And your salt worked great in the sand. Look at him. He's cute.
Right, isn't he?
He's nice and bright. Yeah. His eyes are funny. I like that the little white thing in the middle. It's very pronounced. And so your eye kind of goes there in the eyes.
Mhm.
Good. Good colors.
Starting the black part.
Yeah. No, your colors are beautiful. Your salt worked. I love your oranges in the sky, or in the sand, in the sky, whatever it is. Yeah, you've got a great start. Beautiful negatives.